Hi everybody, it's Wendy from Bee Balm Designs, and today I'm going to make some bath bombs. So it's a rainy day in Vancouver, so probably not a very good idea to make bath bombs because they are generally challenging in the best of times. Let's just say sometimes your recipe works, sometimes it doesn't, but having the rain outside and the extra humidity, I'm not sure how this is going to go, but we'll try it anyway and see what happens. I'm still working on a bath bomb recipe, still trying to tweak it and get a recipe that I really like. I'm pretty close right now, but not quite there yet. So because there is a lot of humidity in the air today, it's cool and damp. I'm only making a very small batch today, but this size of recipe is a great recipe for you to make at home if you want to make some gifts. I did make one batch already this morning, which I'll show you when we get towards the end. It's a nice purple color. Making the exact same recipe right now, except the only difference is I'm going to use a little bit of green color in it instead of purple. No fancy bath bombs today either, just because of the humidity. I don't want to mess around by doing different colors and whatnot, so it's just going to be very straightforward, but hopefully entertaining. Anyway, we should make about 8 about medium-sized bath bombs. The recipe is really good. It's very foamy. When you put it in the water, it's got some kaolin clay in it, which is very good for the body. Sweet almond oil. Fragrance that I'm using today is Lovespell, which is just a fantastic floral fragrance. So let's get started. I've pre-measured everything to save a little bit of time. So to start out with, I'm going to use 600 grams of baking soda, and I'm going to put them in the sifter. My utensils are not dirty, but I did make a bath bomb recipe, as I mentioned earlier, so I didn't wash my utensils. I just wipe them down, because the last thing you want to do is have a lot of water around when you're trying to make your recipe. You don't want to prematurely activate your bath bomb. So we're just going to strain everything here. So again, that was 300 grams of baking soda. Or sorry, not that. It is 600 grams of baking soda, pardon me. It's 300 grams of citric acid. Again, that doesn't really need to be sifted, but I just like to put everything through the sifter. I see there was just a couple of little lumps in it. Just like to get rid of those. Then we've got 100 grams of Epsom salt. So you can see the Epsom salt here. It's very powdery. It's just Epsom salt I bought out of the drugstore, you know, the crystal kind that you put in the bathtub. It's exactly that, but I put it in my spice grinder, or my coffee grinder, which I only use for this kind of stuff. I don't use it for coffee anymore, or spices. But you can see it made a fine powder, which I really like. It seems to hold better than having the crystals in big lumps in your bath bomb. Anyway, so there goes the 100 grams of Epsom salt, and we'll just put those through. Again, it's pretty fine, so you have to kind of push it in there. There might be a few granules on the bottom. See that? That's perfectly fine. Just going to dump that right in. Let's move that a little bit. Okay. So it looks very pretty so far. And in my little cup here, I have 20 grams of kaolin clay, which is on the top here, and then on the bottom in here I have 30 grams of SLSA, which is a foaming agent. There's nothing wrong with it. It's a natural product. It's not a chemical or anything like that. One thing it does have, though, is a very, very fine powder, and it can make you cough a little bit when you're first mixing it in. But other than that, it just makes a really nice foamy bath. And the kaolin clay, again, is very good for your body, for your skin, for relaxing and soaking in. So we'll just do that. So that's it for the dry ingredients. And now we're just going to mix these together. Make sure we have a fine mix here. If you see any lumps, you can just kind of push them out. Okay, we're getting there. Just want to make sure everything is really, really finely mixed. All the product is evenly distributed. And bath bombs are one of those funny things. They're very finicky. Sometimes your recipe just turns out perfect and they just unmold and it's wonderful, and sometimes they just do not want to cooperate. So we'll see what we get today. Now into my dry ingredients, I'm going to put my coloring in right now. So I'm going to use, I thought I'd use green today, so I'm going to use 1 teaspoon of green. The green I'm using is from Nurture Soap Green Vibrance Mica Powder, which is safe for bath bombs and safe for skin. So I'm going to put about a teaspoon in, just a rough measure here. Okay, it's about a teaspoon. Let's see what color we get. I just use a little whisk to whisk it in. The color will also darken a little bit when you add your wet product to the dry mixture. So 1 teaspoon for the size of the recipe is generally enough. I don't like to overdo it too much. I don't want it to chance to leave any stain in the tub when you use it or anything like that. For sure it won't color your skin at all. Let's get that mixed in so that looks good. It should be very pretty. Okay. Alright, so now we've got the wet ingredients. So my wet ingredients here is going to be, I've got, mix it up here, I've got 5 grams of polysorbate 80, which again, it's not a harmful chemical or anything like that. What it does is it helps to disperse the color and the oil evenly in your water when you activate your bath bomb, so that it doesn't leave a ring in your tub. I've got 10 grams of sweet almond oil, so very nice for moisturizing. I've got 15 grams of just plain old water and 15 grams of fragrance. And again, I mentioned I'm using Lovespell today. So this part you want to be careful of and take your time. If you pour all your wet ingredients in right now, you're going to activate your product and you're going to ruin your bath bomb. So you just need to put it in slowly, take your time with this part. I usually like to use my little whisk here, and I just pour in a little bit at a time. And just in between adding your wet ingredients, just make sure you're whisking very, very well. So you can probably see here, or maybe not, maybe I'll put a little bit more in and you can probably see. What it tends to do is it's going to go a little bit lumpy, which is fine. It's just the water and the oil mixing in. When we mix the bath bombs up, put them in the molds, those little lumps will just get compressed and they will just help bind your bath bomb together. My gosh, that fragrance smells great. I love that. I love Lovespell. It's really good. Okay, getting a strong fragrance of it right now. Put a little bit more. Again, just take your time. If you ever over pour a little bit by mistake and you can see that your product is starting to foam, just keep in there, just keep whisking it and whisking it and whisking it. Don't put any more product in until you can see that it stopped activating. But again, this is the part where you just want to be patient. You can probably see that the green is starting to darken up a little bit already. I know a lot of people have recipes where they use rubbing alcohol or witch hazel. I started making my bath bombs using that, and then I came across recipes where people were just using water, so they weren't using rubbing alcohol or witch hazel. Which I thought, okay, well that was interesting, so I thought I would try that. I guess witch hazel and rubbing alcohol helps to not activate your product as you're doing it, but I found like the water just seems to be working out very well. it would be the same process. This we're not using a spray bottle to spray in any rubbing alcohol or witch hazel or even our water. We're just putting it right directly into our dry mix. Okay, it's looking good. I mean, honestly, it smells fantastic. I just love it. Hopefully you can see that the green is really starting to come up now, nice soft green. Almost there. Okay, we don't ever want to waste anything, so we'll just scrape our container out here. Okay. And that's it. So what you're looking for is about the consistency of wet sand. It's looking pretty good. Once you get that mixed in, then you want to just use your hands and make sure that you got all the product incorporated thoroughly. Everything is nice and wet. You don't have any white powder left on the bottom of your bowl. See, you're looking for this, the consistency of wet sand. That's what we're looking for. But even though it looks good, that doesn't guarantee it's going to mold up, so we'll see. Okay, so again, looks very good, holds its shape. That's what we want. So in my bath bomb I made this morning, I just made a simple purple. Let's see, I'll show you here. One that's hopefully dried. I made a simple purple bath bomb this morning. Again with the same fragrance, Lovespell, and I just put some glitter on the top before I made the bath bomb. But I thought maybe for this one might be fun to use the glitter, but also some dried rose petal leaves, which I've got here. Which I know some people might find a little bit annoying to put the bath bomb in their bath and have a few petals floating around, but I'm gonna try a couple like that and just see how it goes. And then I've got some biodegradable glitter here. It's a very pretty white iridescent. I don't know if you can really see it on the camera, how pretty it is. So we'll try that, and let's see if we can make a couple. So here's our molds here. I'm just using the plastic molds today. So to start out with, I like to put a little bit of glitter in the bottom, and then we'll put a few rose petals in. You don't need too many. Maybe just a touch more glitter. So when you're putting anything like this into your bath bomb, we don't really want to press our bath bomb down too hard. We want it to be dense but not packed down, but because we do have rose petals in there, we're going to give it a little push down. So you can see I'm just tapping it. I'm not pushing it in at all. And then on the bottom one, again, just kind of get it up there, tap it lightly, overfill it. Okay. Here's our test. Let's see how it goes. So we're just going to push these together. Give it a good push. Let's get them joined up together. Again, you're not using like a lot of pressure. You're just trying to get the bath bomb. This one might be a little bit off. I see I didn't get it joined up properly. We'll see. And I'll just give it a good squeeze. And then you can see on the top you've got your rose petal and your glitter. Just going to give it a little tap. I might have a problem with this one. I didn't squeeze it on together properly. I'm not getting quite a tight fit as I would like, but we'll just set that one aside for right now. And you should just let them sit for about 5 minutes or so before you unmold them. Just let them activate a little bit. So the next one, I think I won't put the glitter down first. I think on this one, let's just put the rose petal in a little bit. And then I'm going to put glitter on top a little bit. And again, put some in, just give it a little push. Just to hold the petals in. You're not really compacting the material into your balm. Okay. Same here. Just give it a little push. Not hard. Just do this. All right, then you've got your two halves. Let's push them together and see what we get. I usually just like to tap them just to get rid of any excess that's in between here. Let's rub it around. Okay, and again you can see the top on that one. It's a little bit better putting the petals in first and I think the glitter in after. You can see that. Okay. Again, let's try the same thing again. A few petals, a little bit of glitter. I mean, you need to have glitter in your bathtub. Again, a little bit of product in there and just tap it gently. Okay, little tap, overfill. And again, little tap, overfill, and put these together. So there's a lot of things you can do with bath bombs depending on your ingredients. You can make them more foamy, you can make them zip around your bathtub, you can put embeds into them so as they activate in the bathtub different colors come out. The variations are endless for sure. So again, you can see my flowers moved a little bit off center, but that's okay because they're still pretty. There we go. And let's just try one just with glitter in the bottom, kind of see how that looks. Again, if you have anything you're inputting into it, just give it a light tap. You always want to overfill. Little tap. Okay. I only have 4 bath bomb molds out right now. This actually recipe makes 8. And you might have a little bit left over. Recipes really vary day to day depending on the humidity, how much liquid you have. I don't know, it's kind of funny. Sometimes you'll get just your 8, and sometimes you can make a little bit more. This morning I made 8, and then I had enough to make 2 little tiny ones in these little molds here. So squish it down. And again, that's just a very simple with just the glitter on top. So we'll set that there. Because it's a little bit humid today, I just can use my molds over again, but I don't want to remove the mold, or I don't want to remove the molds from those bath bombs just quite yet. I just want to give them a couple more minutes here. And I'll be right back.